What's up, guys? In this video we're going to talk about how to optimize your rifle for use with night vision, and we're going to go over two of my rifles. When it comes to shooting with nods, you want to be able to do everything instinctively and all by muscle memory without even thinking. Could be in the dark, not be able to see your rifle or your hands in front of your face, or it could just be out of focus. So you want to make sure you do have some consistency and you keep everything very simple. Alright, we'll talk about this rifle first. This is my primary rifle. I shoot the majority of the time. This is an aimpoint comp 4. Good optic for night vision shooting. The glass is pretty clear. It's still very usable. Not eotech clear, but it's still a very good optic, of course. The reticle does dim down. It does have several night vision settings, and it can get pretty precise, so it is very usable, and you do have a small aiming point, which I do like a lot. I will eventually put the Unity Fast comp mount on here just to raise it up a little bit, and it does kind of angle it a little bit forward, so you can even push it a little bit further forward, because with an optic like this, or with most optics, when I'm shooting with night vision, I like to have it as far forward as possible to account for a tube that's in between your face and the optic itself. So I will eventually get that Unity Comp M4 mount. Another thing that helps me is this BCM stock that has cheek risers on it. Just when I'm, say, working from the high ready position with a nod on, this will touch my cheek as a point of reference before it actually hits my shoulder, and that's just something I like. I just like contact points, stuff like that. Also, the sling, good sling, and I do like to have it attached right here on the rail, because I find I can have it slung over my body, not just around my neck, and maneuver it pretty easily, especially from high ready positions. Of course, you can have it slung all the way at the end, which is a very secure way to do it, but if you want to maneuver it a little bit more easily, you do have to sling it just around your neck if you have it slung at the very ends of the rifle. So I prefer just to have the sling right here the majority of the time. The large latches of the radiant charging handles are definitely nice, especially when you're shooting in the dark. Pretty hard to miss this giant latch on either side. And on the right side for lefties, it's even longer on that side. So it is nice to have something like the radiant charging handle, and even this Geisley Maritime bolt catch. So you can make sure when you need to hit that, pretty hard to miss that as well. So those controls are definitely nice things to have. We'll talk about the laser and illuminator dbal A2. One thing that I don't like about the dbals is the battery compartment is at the front. So if I wanted to mount the front sight forward of the dbal, I'd have to have it like right there, and that would be kind of annoying because I'd have to have my hand right here or in front, and I could get some splashback or basically cover the illuminator or laser partially or entirely. So I just push it all the way forward and put the front sight behind the pressure pad. People may say this looks stupid, but you got to remember, this is a primary source of aim. This is a primary source of aim. These are just backups, so these get priority over the iron sight. I do have a pressure pad laser at the front, white light at the back. I like a pressure pad on the dbals just because the button is pretty small. And I know some people are going to say you might hit the wrong one, but I'd be more worried about missing this tiny button than actually hitting the wrong button. At least me personally. And of course, I can still go up and hit that button if I needed to. I do have the surefire on the other side mounted on an Arisaka mount. I do have it basically at a 90-degree parallel with the rail instead of an offset at 45, just because the laser would get in the way. So that's more or less how I have it set up. One reason I really like this dbal A2 as well as the full-powered PEC 15s is because of the illuminator. It's focusable, and if I focus this thing all the way in, it basically looks indistinguishable from the laser itself, if you're using it up close, of course. And that means if I say aim it 200-300 yards away, you're going to have a nice tight hot spot. A lot of people say, oh, civilians don't need this laser, they're never going to use it. Well, in my opinion, those people sound like liberals. If you want one of these things, go for it. The reason I want something like this is the same reason anyone wants a white light with a lot of candela, a lot of throw. Same goes for the IR laser and illuminator. In an shtf scenario, something like this will definitely be beneficial. Alright, let's go over this rifle. This is just a backup rifle to my primary that I have set up in a similar fashion. So if anything happens to that one, I have this one to go to. I've let a few things go over the last several months, so the couple rifles I have left, I want to be 24-hour rifles, so night vision capable. This one is a BCM upper with a non-BCM lower that I did assemble. I think that's a practical option for anyone to go with if they're on a budget but still want something of quality. This optic is an L3 eotech 2-dot reticle, which I do like in combination with this Unity fasterizer. About 7 or 10 yards, I'll use the bottom intersecting hash mark, then I'll start using the bottom dot, then eventually the middle dot. So 10 yards and in, 50 yards and in, this is the perfect optic. Night vision use, eotechs are probably the best in my opinion. This does not have the night vision button, but it still dims down low enough to where it's perfectly usable. It has a nice crisp reticle, in my opinion. The eotech reticle probably looks better under night vision than it does during the daytime without nods, and the glass is crystal clear. So I will accept the low battery life for those trade-offs. Moving forward on the rail, I do have a vertical foregrip on this rifle, which I do like, so you can get more leverage utilizing this grip, especially when you want to press a tail cap or the pressure pad. So this is just a Streamlight Pro Tac with a tail switch on it. I really like these lights. They're like a third the price of my Surefire, and they have more of a hot spot and more throw than my Surefire. Basic air socket mount. In my opinion, if you're on a budget, you should just get this light and this mount. It allows you to position it basically wherever is most convenient for you. I do have to have it basically parallel with the rail, just because if I had it at an offset, it would be in the way of the throw lever or even in the way of the laser on the other side. So I have it just parallel with the rail, and it works for me. Basic pressure pad for this dbal, just because I like using a pressure pad on the dbals. The buttons are too tiny in my opinion, and they're not placed in the most usable position. Before we end this video, I just want to say something. You need to set your rifle up relative to what you need it to do. So that's going to be relative to your wants, your needs, and what your general and immediate area looks like. Not everyone's going to need the same generic setup, so copying your favorite influencer might not be the best thing to do, because odds are he probably copied someone else and that person copied someone else. So set your rifle up relative to what you need it to do, your local area, and of course your budget. But that's going to be it for this video. Do have some future videos coming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.